All right, for segment 2 today, that's right, I am going to cover Mutants in Orbit. And wow, I got to tell you something. This book is only, how many pages is this? 100 and, is it even 100? It's 112 pages, that's it. But it was like reading 300 pages. It has got a ton of information in here, and I'm only allowed to give you an overview of it. So we're going to figure out what is in this book, how you can use it, and I'm breaking this into 2 videos. So yes, this is the first video of 2. This is the After the Bomb version, because if you read that, if you can see the thumbnail on the screen, Mutants in Orbit, an adventure and source book for After the Bomb and Rifts. What? After the Bomb is SDC, Rifts is MDC. How can they do that? Well, you're going to get that in 2 videos. And this first one is After the Bomb. The best tabletop RPG groups follow these core values to respect the campaign setting, the game, and the people at the table. Refer to the URL in the video's description to donate to the charity we support, the Wounded Warrior Project. Sunday on Rumble and YouTube, we provide tabletop RPG game, system, and setting overviews. Then on Friday, a panel of guests editorialize on the TTRPG hobby as a whole. Thursdays and Saturdays are when Heathen Dog leads his Dirty Casuals video game squad on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth. Please like and share this video with your friends and on social media, and subscribe to Legion of Myth for more tabletop RPG content. All right, let's see if I've got that on the screen. Nope. There we go. Mutants in Orbit. I had to actually buy the book today. I could have sworn I had this in PDF already. I didn't. Had to buy it today. But there we go. We got it. So hopefully the printings are the same. Now, there's going to be a lot of, remember, this is an overview. So we're not going to dive too deeply into everything, but we are going to touch on a lot of stuff here. And because it's a paid one, I'm going to put this comment up right away over here. So, mention here your take on Mutants in Orbit. I'm running Aliens Unlimited game, great for my son, and found, what?
The Mutants in Orbit book.
Oh, Mutants in Orbit. Okay, got it. Mutants in Orbit book to be an awesome resource. You know, it's funny. I tried to put together something, a science fiction-ish type about 4 or 5 years ago, and I used this book as my starting point for it, and it didn't work out for me. But that isn't because it's a bad book. There's something I was looking for. Anyway, long story short, this is a great book. Now, we're going to start with Mutants in Orbit, like I said. So, right off the bat, the book starts with got the cover, got the yada yada. Okay, what awaits you in Orbit? Basically, it's how to use this book, and it explains that the book is for After the Bomb, Rifts, and Heroes Unlimited. Now you'd be like, well, After the Bomb, Heroes Unlimited, that makes sense. Well, there's a lot of lore in this book. Mm-hmm. And it breaks a lot of the Heroes Unlimited lore. So it kind of talks about that. It says, hey, look, you're going to have to do things a little differently in Heroes Unlimited, but it's still compatible with it. So you can check that out. Now, the next thing, creating a character, Orbit style. So this is the After the Bomb. And go ahead, Hinda. We're not going to roll you 8 attributes, but just go. Let's roll an animal. Go ahead and roll percentile dice.
You didn't tell me to get ready.
I know. Yeah, surprise! After that nonsense you made me do a traveler.
hey, you didn't lose an eye. Shut up.
I didn't lose an eye. That's true.
All right, so I'm rolling stats here?
No, you're just going to be rolling percentile dice. We're not going to go through all the 8 attributes. Yeah, we're not doing a full character.
Okay, just making sure. All right. So there you go. D10, got it. 7.
7. Okay, you're a common mammal. Just a common. Go ahead and roll again.
Okay. 34.
34. You're a rat.
Damn it.
Because, you know, I mean, what are we going to throw into space, right?
Rats. I mean, come on. They don't, well, they're going to get anywhere there's cargo. So, okay.
That is fair. All right, mutation background. Things change a little bit for mutant, I should say mutineers here. Mutants in Orbit. There are some things that happen differently. First of all, well, let's go ahead and roll percentile dice for this background, but I want to say that bring in OCCs. That's not something that's normal to After the Bomb or Heroes Unlimited. Well, now you're going to have OCCs.
Oh.
So go ahead and roll.
71.
71. Your origin is Outcast Station. We'll find out more about later. And you have 400 IOU. What is that? Well, we'll talk about that later. Well, actually, sorry, it says roll 2d4 plus 2, but we don't worry about that right now. Now, what is your profession? Go ahead, roll one more time.
17.
17. Now, this is where things get weird because you are not doing your normal education that you would get in
Heroes Unlimited.
The original TMNT / After the Bomb, because this was written before the new After the Bomb, which is, as Heathen Dog just said, is like the Heroes Unlimited education system. No, you now basically have an OCC, and he's got a 17. You're a defense officer. You're involved in the protection of the home base from outside threats, including raids by pirates. So what do you get? You get defensive systems plus 10%, advanced zero gravity combat. Wait, that's not in Heroes Unlimited. Correct. We'll look at that in a moment. And a bunch of other skills. If you're playing Rifts, which we're not, this is just the After the Bomb side, you're considered a less skilled version of the CS military specialist.
Oh.
But you're literate.
They can't even read. I'm less skilled than that.
No, it says always literate. Notice there's oh, sorry, I should zoom in on this. That's my fault. It says right there, always literate.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I can read. That means I'm better than a regular CS guy. Shut up.
All right. So, all right. So you get the idea. So now here's a new one here. Let's go down here. So you have your typical bio-E. Again, go watch the After the Bomb videos if you're not sure what some of this stuff is. Growth levels, human features. There are going to be some specifics when it comes to growth levels that I found was kind of weird, but understandable in this version of the game. So exceptional mutation. What is an exceptional mutation? Well, you now have above and beyond your normal animal powers. Must be so. Let's look at this. When a random mutation is rolled, the player moves down to the next table. So let's where was that random mutation? Did I miss it? Oh, I might have missed it. Oh, it's right here. Okay, go ahead and roll percentile dice.
Okay, 93.
Holy crap! You're a full super being. 2 major super abilities.
Woohoo!
Random mutation. What does that mean? It means you better own Heroes Unlimited.
Yeah. You better have Heroes Unlimited if you're going to use this.
Now, I want you to think about this for a second. A normal TMNT or After the Bomb character is already better than a normal person. Why? Because you have things like claws and flight and pluses to your attributes. You know, if you're a weasel.
Psionics that don't cost ISP.
Yeah, psionics that don't cost well, they cost bio-E though. But
you only spend that one time, then you're good.
That is true. Yep.
Yeah.
Now he's a full super being. I actually never rolled that before, so
that's me. That's me. Super rat.
Super rat. There you go. But you also had a random mutation. Go ahead and roll that.
Okay. 14.
14. Increased physical beauty. Add plus 1d6 to physical beauty. You're a cute
beautiful rat. I'm a
yes.
white rat with a cool pattern somewhere that all the chicks dig. Yeah, all those rat girls just getting on me. Yeah.
Now put this in the form of a rat instead of a dog, or is that a dog, or is that a bad drought?
I think it's a rabbit.
These are rabbits. This looks well, anyway. But you notice that this thing's got superpowers. So how did this happen? Well, the quick way of just mentioning is you're in space, radiation hit you. Okay. Yep. I'm not diving into every word of this book, but and then you can have unusual characteristics and so forth. So the point is you're not just making a normal TMNT / After the Bomb character. There are some things that already change with you.
Yeah, this is like a melding of After the Bomb and Heroes Unlimited so far with me anyway. It's been a melding of both.
Yeah, so to some degree, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that yet, but we're not done. So
to be fair, I have the same. If you're doing Mutants in Orbit, the chances are this is the intent of your campaign, so all of your characters should be rolled out of this. You're going to find out that the same thing happens with Rifts characters when we do the next video and we talk about Rifts. Because there are some interesting, and I'm going to need Heathen Dog's help with this, but there's some interesting things that I noted with that as well. Okay. So you get the mutation. Okay, so creating Rifts characters, we're not going to look at that now. Hopefully Heathen Dog reminds me to look back at this when we cover in the next video, because we are talking about After the Bomb for this one. So here are the new skill lists. If you can read that, sorry if you can't. I'm not going to read through the entire skills, but so what do these pluses and asterisks and so forth mean? Asterisks are brand new skills like artificial intelligence under the computer category is a new skill, and the pluses are, hey, that you can take that as a secondary skill.
Okay.
So, but as you can see, there's a bunch of new skills in here. Yep. And that's because they need it. I mean, you didn't need interplanetary navigation for After the Bomb.
No.
You probably also didn't need it for Rifts, and we're going to talk about that in the next one because both of them are pretty terrestrially locked settings. Okay. So, and of course, in typical Palladium fashion, we've got our nice write-ups on those things. So, all right. Now let's get to after the bomb. So I'm not gonna page through a lot of this except for where it says in here I need to read something. But basically, there's been about 100 years of peace, harmony, and scientific achievement. Life is
Golden
good.
Age.
What's that?
Golden Age.
Okay, if that's what it is for Rifts, I don't know if it's a golden age here, but it's like, remember, he wrote this book in the early 90s. Russia had just fallen, or sorry, the Soviet Union had just fallen. Russia and America were kind of getting along, right? So some of that was like, hey, we're going to have some scientific achievement. We have the International Space Station, et cetera, et cetera. I don't remember what year that went up, but the point is like, we're moving in these directions, and Kevin is a prophet, and he saw that. But yeah, the countries are working together, and then of course, the Earth went nuclear.
Yep.
Now that's
the
going
only way to kill human beings is to let them kill themselves.
Right. And if you watch our After the Bomb video, you'll know that we really, really despise the After the Bomb. The funny thing is,
sucks.
Yeah, the second one. Well, this is written before the second one. This is written during the first one, which is similar, but it didn't go into the nuance because it was all the nuance that actually ruined the story. This right here, they're like, well, what's going on? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, no, man. They're nuking each other. We're out here in space. Space sucks. All right. So now the focus is, after the bomb, right? I mean, it's called After the Bomb. Repairs, hydroponics, and scavenging the asteroid belt for water and oxygen are now basically a priority. They're like, we need stuff to do. Or we need to survive.
We need to be able to live.
Yep.
Basics for survival are no longer shipped up to us.
So this term, the Flash, is the nuclear bomb, but I want you to remember that for when we talk about rifts, okay? Because it's called the same thing in rifts.
Okay.
There's life after the Flash. I kind of explained that already. So I want to read this section here. And yeah, a new breed mutant animals. So what does this have to do with after the bomb? Well, let's talk about that. After the Flash, humans did not last long. The majority dying out within a generation. Their bodies had never been designed to stand up to zero gravity and the strange radiations that space produces. We're going to talk about, okay, really, would it be that bad? We're going to talk about that in just a moment.
Kind of, yeah.
The animals thrived on it. Many had already been genetically altered, their intelligence, endurance, and abilities augmented and designed for the rigors of space, while others, like insects, were just highly adaptable. Whichever it was, they all began to change. More on that later. So the point is why are we doing After the Bomb? Why aren't there humans here? Or there aren't many. To be fair, when we start looking at the stations, you're going to find out that there are still humans in existence. But everybody changed to some degree. And life in orbit. Orbit is crowded. This is Earth's orbit, obviously. Mm-hmm. Filled with the debris of 100 years of exploration and dumping and 200 years of chaos.
Sure.
That 300 years is an interesting number, isn't it, Heathen Dog?
Yeah.
How long, for you weirdos that like riffs, how many years was it since the apocalypse?
At the beginning of the original rifts, it was 300 years.
Oh, weird, huh? The space stations hang in their stationary orbits while between them rush the white and silver darts of freebooter spaceships. In between lie dead satellites, abandoned tools, lost equipment, rocks, water crystals, corpses. Yep. The wreckage of a million disasters. And I could go on there, but you get the idea. So
it's dirty up there.
It's dirty up there. Your life is generally about, we need to repair our stuff that's breaking, because what happens when your spaceship breaks?
You die.
Okay, so we need to fix that, right? We need to find stuff. And what kind of stuff do we need to find? Well, nothing lasts forever. Ask anybody who's ever owned a computer. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's ever owned a car.
Recycle water to a point, but you're going to have losses.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is 100% efficient.
Right.
Which means you are going to need food, you're going to need water, you're going to need fuel, and you're going to need replacement parts and basic metals to manufacture them. So yeah, you got a lot of work to do.
Your life is about survival. You need to grow food and hydroponics. And Heathen Dog was right about the water, that the asteroid belt, you're looking for stuff in the asteroid belt. Maybe one of these asteroids, maybe there's a comet near something. We need to get some. We need to get some ice. Yep. Because once equipment breaks, it's probably gone forever. So, okay, now we want to go on to page 19. Now, we're just going to look at the headings. If I can get my mouse to move. There it is. So remember when I said before about the whole survival thing, why humans might not be around. I'm not going to read all of this. This is where the book gets very dense. It's up to you whether you agree or not. I'm sure some scientists will be like, that isn't perfectly right. Who cares? It's a game. But there's a lot of stuff in here. Space, a hostile environment. It's all over here. Adapting to life in space, a zero gravity, and zero gravity isn't a good thing to the human body. And I think Kevin accentuates that to some degree too.
Well, yeah, I mean, from all the stats we have from people on the space station, people doing, orbital moonwalk, stuff like that, been up there for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year or more. Bone loss is significant, and it is detrimental to while you're in 0G. It takes a while for it to be detrimental because nothing has weight. But after a time, your bones will get so brittle that even knocking yourself against a desk is going to break your hip.
And if anybody was reading what was, sorry,
you're not going to live long after that. And that's not even talking about the radiation, because I have a feeling that force fields don't exist yet. So that's going to be a problem.
If anybody's reading what was on the screen here, it talks about the heart and brain, also, the blood and so forth. And he really goes into this. There's a riffs note here about experimentation with juicers and crazies, which we'll talk about hopefully in the next episode. So yeah, being in space is not a happy place. Decompression sickness, it talks about their biological and physiological considerations. Look at all those bullet points for that. Then we talk about we got to recycle and you've got to get water. The main idea of this book is you're in space and you're alone. So need power and mining. I'm trying to get both columns here if I can a little bit. I guess I could just zoom out. But produce some oxygen, hydrogen. You see all that, right? So yeah, crimes and penalties. We're going to take a look at this because you do have a small society out there, and we're going to get to what all those societies are in a moment. But let's take a look. I want to actually look at this. Carrying a firearm is 1d4 times 100 IOU. IOU is just the currency. Basically, IOU is like water. I mean, it can be other things than that. It can be water, salvage equipment, whatever. It all has kind of a value to it. They just call it IOU. So petty theft, 2d6 times 100 and or 3 to 4 weeks of community service. Petty theft, 3d4 weeks of community service.
Stealing bread, right? That's what that is.
But imagine where every item that you have needs to be accounted for the survival of everybody.
So petty theft is no longer really petty.
Right. Breaking entry, murder and extortion, death or life imprisonment. Good to know that they just space you. Petty vandalism. You see it. So again, do I care about all these crimes? No. Look at this. Piracy of ice. Piracy of oxygen. Look at that penalty.
Just death. It's just death. Which is fair, because what you're doing is killing dozens of people, hundreds of people maybe, depending on how much oxygen you stole. You're stealing the future from an entire enclosed environment. Screw you. You're gonna feel what it's like to drift through the vastness of space. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Piracy of ice, imprisonment and labor at the mines in the asteroid belt or on Mars, which we'll talk about later. You do not want to be on Mars for 66 years. Oh, claim jumping, life or death, life imprisonment or death. Okay, so, and by the way, I love how he puts in here, life sentence means life, not 10 to 20 years. So you get the idea, but it makes sense in a society that's in space. That stuff makes sense. So, okay, then you have space pirates, orbits. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to start talking about the zone. What is the zone? The zone is basically the area of space that you can explore, for lack of a better term. It's the orbit around Earth. It's the moon. It's the Mars, and to some extent, it's the asteroid belt. So let me make sure I'm on my right note card. I already did that. It says read orbital space stations. Okay, first paragraph. I will do that then, because I listen to myself. The limitations and rigors of life in space have kept the populations and expansion of space colonies limited and slow. Again, when we cover the Rift side, you'll note that it says note, not so in Rifts. Okay, you note that there's a difference in Rifts. There are approximately 60,000 people spread between the asteroid belt just beyond Mars and throughout the zone, the area around the Earth and Moon. There are 4 mutant-occupied space stations in Earth orbit, and we are going to talk about them in an overview, plus a sprawling base on the moon with many tiny mining and observation outposts around it. All right. We're not going to read any more of that. So let's actually just start. Overpopulation is actually another concern because, unlike the Rift side, there are much fewer resources in the after the bomb version. So let's take a look at these space stations. You have Freedom Station. All right, Freedom Station is the first one. Boop. I lost a note card. Oh, there we go. Grabbed two by mistake. Okay, this is United States and Canada controlled. That's why it's Freedom Station, because you know it. USA, baby, freedom, America. Read page 24, paragraph 2. Really? I got that much reading to do? That's a lot more reading than I thought. That's why. Of all the stations, Freedom is the most open to outsiders. A lot of freebooters, traders, miners, and even pirates make it their temporary home and bring a lot of trade with them. A lot of scavenged artifacts and raw materials find their way here. As a result, it has become the richest of the orbital stations and has over 3 million tons of ice tethered around it. What you're going to find out, each space station has its own strength and weakness, okay? And I'm not going to cover everything in here. This one has no police force, and so crime is handled by a council. There are 6,000 mutants and 1,000 humans. Remember, they made it sound like every single human died. No, not every single human died, but mutants definitely are the majority. It's overseen by a 21-member council, each one that lasts for 3 years. Now, diplomatic relations. This was the paragraph that I thought was the most important for understanding. Is that Freedom Station? If not, let's just say it is. Looks like a big dome.
Yeah, it's not very aesthetically pleasing, but you know what? When you're living in space and there's a little piece of hull between you and instant death, I don't really care what it looks like.
Right? It's the most beautiful thing ever as long as it is there.
Yeah.
So diplomatic relations. Freedom Station welcomes responsible and respectable freebooters, miners, and even welcomes vagrants and adventurers. They will trade with independent miners, companies, and people, the Moon Colony and Laika Station, which is the next one, but the latter two only out of necessity. They avoid dealing with the outcasts, the network pirates, and especially Eurostation.
What?
Why? We'll find out later.
Because they wear skinny jeans? I don't know. What?
We'll find out later.
Find out.
Let's look at Space Station Laika now. This is Russia. All right. Oh my God, so much reading. Last sentence of paragraph 1 into paragraph 2. Okay. This station is, okay, that's why I remember this one. This station has a strong feeling of community and nationalism and family, far more so than the other stations, except possibly the Moon Colony. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, the comrades are rather xenophobic when it comes to the other stations. They regard freebooters and independent miners as a regrettable necessity, but are paranoid about the possibility of newcomers being spies or infiltrators. By the way, I'm reading some of this because it's going to affect the Rift's commentary in the next video. Or worse yet, being invading monsters. Consequently, they restrict freebooters and newcomers to specific areas. We don't have to read any more of that. So the only station with tech and facilities to build new spacecraft. So, hey, over there at Freedom Station, you had water, right?
Yep.
But you can't fix your ship.
Nope. Well, maybe you can't build it.
Well, it depends on the parts that are needed. You could do some simple repairs.
You can probably fix simple repair, maintenance type stuff at any station, but this one is for major overhauls or just brand new ships.
And I'm glad you used that word overhaul. That's exactly one of the words that's used for this. It's got 4,000 inhabitants, about 70% of our mutant animals. It has a military structure to the hierarchy, so get used to that. And, of course, read diplomatic relations again, because that kind of tells its status in universe. Oh, where is it? Powers, defenses, design, export, diplomatic. Laika is happy to deal with the Eurostation, unlike Freedom Station, okay? Mainly exchanging spacecraft for computers and energy power, because they see Euro as no threat. They also deal with the Moon Colony, trading water and spacecraft for ore, energy, and building materials. You notice how each station and the moon all have their own little niche that they kind of control, for lack of a better word?
It makes sense. I mean, it's the same reason why medical professionals specialize and they get more money, because they have knowledge that is advanced and is needed by the general populace all the time. And if you become good at it, you get your name out there, you make more money, you'll have a better career, stuff like that. So this is the same. Each station chose a specialty. We are the best at this. That makes people come to them.
And if it wasn't chosen, at least it fell in, I don't want to say fell into that. It's how it turned out. So it also makes each one of the stations like, hey, I think we want to start a campaign on Eurostation, or we want to do some things with Freedom Station. It gives you impetus to go exploring the different stations. All right, let's get to Eurostation. Eurostation is Europe and Scandinavia. Oh, I remember this one now. Why? Eurostation is Europe and Scandinavia. Each of the countries lives in wings, and they're not friends.
Oh, God. All right.
Now, what's funny is they're actually more paranoid in the Rifts version than in the After the Bomb version, but they still do it. Whereas I say, yeah, each Britain, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway have retreated into their own wings of the station. There's no actual war, and all the nationalities work fairly well together to run the station, but there are frequent arguments and scuffles, okay? The dominant economic position is an abundance of power. This station has all the power in the galaxy. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. It also has the best labs, computers, and nanotech. So now we have water for one, we have shipbuilding for another, and now we have your computers and techie stuff for this one. Has the best medical and science. Crap, you just lost your leg in character creation?
Guess what? Bionics abound.
And there you go. And it says read leadership this time. Why am I reading leadership? Divided. This way. Each wing has its own form of government, and none agree on the best way to do things. Most are basically democratic, although the British wing is ruled by a hereditary monarch. Go figure, King Philip. And Sweden and Denmark are socialist republics. Again, go figure. So it gives you an idea of the differences there. All right, let's move on to Outcast Station. Outcast Station is the home of all the dregs, subhuman mutants, the disadvantaged, unconventional, retarded. Thank you, Kevin. And hideously mutated in orbital community. I'm bringing that word back, by the way.
Yep.
Although most of the other stations and Moon Colony refuse to have anything to do with the outcast, they frequently send children, badly mutated by radiation, to the station, where they hope they'll be looked after by their own kind.
It's the station of misfit people?
It's the underground the
sewer people from
Futurama.
Yeah.
Yep. Sewer people from Futurama. So of their own kind, subhuman mutants. Sometimes they are, but life on Outcast Station is difficult and can be cruel. It's the only station where normal folk can carry weapons. It has nothing to offer because no one likes them. And its only allies are certain freebooters.
Yeah, the only thing it offers is sanctuary for all those who were kicked out of everywhere else.
Yes. Yep. That's what it is. I noticed I'm done. The graveyard is so it's a Sino-Japanese. That would never happen. But it was destroyed. And there are lots of great ghost stories, anomalies, maybe pirates, who knows? Good luck. Mines, defense satellites, etc. And maybe there's something, good in there. Adventure Hook. So Little Green Mutants, we don't care about that. Independence. So you have the freebooters. We're going to look more over the bullet points now than anything else. So freebooters. Now, when people think freebooters, they pretty much think pirates. Well, freebooters and pirates are a little different in this one. Merchants would be like the most honorable, for lack of a better term. Freebooters are kind of in the middle, and pirates are the bad guys for sure, right? So freebooters can go either way, but you can get charter work from them. They'll chauffeur, so you might want to hire them for that. They'll chauffeur people. They'll do some piracy, but it says very few freebooters resort to piracy and fewer make a regular living from it.
Well, yeah, there's a stigma. I mean, you get caught one time, you lose licenses, you lose that stuff. You can no longer be a regular law-abiding citizen doing your job. Yep. If you're not allowed to dock at a station, you can't take things there, right? So suck.
Recovery, they'll find lost items for you because somebody sold something. It's funny when we start talking about the mafia in a little bit here. They're one avenue you can go. Basically, your choices are freebooters, or I forget what they're called already, or you can go to the mafia. I don't know. And rescue. So you're lost in space, or you went out there and a loved one hasn't come back. Maybe they'll try to find them for you. Scavenging, snowballing, supply and cargo. What is snowballing? It's try to go find ice.
Oh, okay.
Trading. So freebooters really do a lot of stuff, and I want to say that in my opinion, It's the one thing in this book that I wish Kevin would reword, because freebooters are generally in history considered pirates. Maybe not as bad, but you get what I'm saying. Like, and I don't
They're pirate
see,
adjacent.
yeah, and they might not be fully reputable, and because they really span the gamut here. But every time I hear the word freebooter, I'm like, no, but no, they're really not always that bad. Now, can you fully trust every one of them? Nope. So next we have, I think it's the network. Yeah, the network. This is your organized crime. Now you'd think organized crime, bunch of horrible people, right? Well, okay, maybe. Even, by the way, they've even infiltrated Leica Station with its military hierarchy. That's how good the network is. You can get black market goods from them, and they offer this thing called insurance. Now, before you laugh and say, yeah, good old insurance scam, I'd hate to see your building burn down. No. They know better than that. What happens if you burn something down in space and proverbially, metaphorically burn something
forever? It's not going to be rebuilt. It could possibly kill a whole bunch of innocent people, and that means the entire network is going to be taken down through the impetus of all of the citizens crying out for revenge and safety, and so it will destroy their entire organization. That is heat that you don't want.
Right. Their insurance is actually highly reputable. They act as bodyguards, spies, escorts, so on and so forth. And they have a 70% success rate. Only 70? When you have somebody actively trying to kill you, that person, you have to be right every time. That person only has to be right once.
Yeah. And think how easy it is to kill someone in space. One thing has to go wrong, and it could start a domino chain of events that ends in your absolute death. So yeah, easy. Defending against that, hard.
Exactly. Now, the last thing to note about them is they don't tolerate other criminals. Now, they might overlook some petty crimes, but if you're good at what you do, you're joining them, or you'll end up missing. Yeah, or you're gonna stop. You join them, do something else, or end up missing. Those are your three choices. If you're bad at what you do, well, whatever.
Then you're gonna end up missing, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. Miners really, what I write here, some are contractors or employers with salary. Some are individuals who just hope to get rich. Ice is the resource of the
oil on Earth is liquid gold.
Yes.
Ice in space is the frozen liquid gold.
Now, I'm going to skip a few more here. Again, this book is really dense. I cannot cover a lot of it, and I have a whole other video to do, but we got to talk about the moon, because the moon is another faction. The moon has pressurized domes on the surface, but the real base is actually subterranean. And it's like 1 billion times bigger in rifts. We talked about that there. But for the after the bomb side, it's totally self-sufficient. It uses solar and fission power, and it says read note on page 36. Okay, let's read the note on page 36.
Nope.
Right there. The decades in near zero gravity has altered the moon colonists' physiologies on a cellular level, preventing them from ever setting foot on a place with gravity greater than 0.5 G. Guess where there's a pretty big place close to them that has more than 0.5 G? Earth.
Earth. Yeah. They can never go home again.
The irreversible muscular and cellular alteration means the moon people and anybody whose body is adapted to zero gravity over a period of decades will experience immense weakness, muscle cramps, cardiovascular strain, or brain hemorrhage resulting in death. A 1 in 50% chance of dying from system shock and strain. Roll once upon immediate arrival, and again every 30 minutes.
For the first 24 hours, and then only once every day. Oh my God. Nope. No.
You're dead.
Yeah, you're going to die.
You will fail. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. You will fail.
Every day there's a 50-50 chance. Even after the first day, when you're rolling, every hour? No, 30 minutes. That's 48 rolls. What the hell? On the first day. You're not making it, man.
So, and there's a lot of information about moon here as well. Earth. You want to know about Earth? Get the after the bomb game. Let's move on. Mars. Oh, Mars. What could have been? So Mars has got Mars base, also affectionately known as bug base. Remember when we talked about insects earlier?
Yep.
So Dr. Matthew Walters, a PhD, decided to mutate insects.
That's a bad idea. It's like, hey, you know what? It'd be really fun. I'm going to make a Terminator. It'd be great.
Well,
Skynet, great idea.
That's what he was totally obsessed. Bugs, but they're better than people in every way. I mean, that it actually says that. And he's like, he felt that they were better than people in every way. Read page 38, second to last paragraph. Okay, I can do that. Today, Mars is this is a really good planet paragraph to indicate. Today, Mars is a living planet dominated by giant insect cannibals and with spotty patches of algae. I mean, you got the word cannibal in there. It's not somewhere I want to go. Actually, the number of insects is fairly small, perhaps as many as 15,000.
That's it? I mean, for bugs, that is not a lot.
Yeah, but they're man-sized bugs.
That it's scarier, but it's still, I would expect more. I really would. I would expect more.
Wait till we talk about rifts.
Okay.
Most are found in clusters in tropical zones. The highest concentration is at the site of the old Mars colony. Here, the dome farms and subterranean colony remain mostly intact and filled with oxygen from the plants that overflow from the farms, gardens, and parks, which now sprawl into the streets and down corridors. Lights, watering system generators are still functioning. Plant life, other than algae, has even crept outside from insects carrying seeds. The satellites keep the area warm and terraforming continuing. I'm not diving into all the terraforming information here, but even the atmosphere around the colony is noticeably thicker and moist. Now, why is that important? When we get to the rift side, you're going to find out that Mars is even bigger, grander, whatever. Terraforming had basically just started here when the flash happened. And now there are 15,000 bugs here. There are no humans at all. Just bugs.
On the whole planet.
On the whole, yep. Now, talking about that, let's look at some mutant insects. And I picked one to look at.
I don't want to.
We're going to skip the lore. We don't care. We just want to look at powers.
They're bugs. We know what they do.
Let's look at some powers. Scroll over. There we go. So you're going to see the rift stuff mixed in here as well. We'll do a rifts bug when we cover the rifts version of it. Insects. Here we go. Insect hostility. Don't care. Where is it? There we go. Insect powers. Features. Now you do have to pay for these things in bio points, and there are some rules with the bugs. Like you must. And when we look at the bug in just a moment here, again, it's probably the other thing I'm a little irked at how it was written. You can have wings. You can have 4 legs for walking, 4 legs for running, 4 legs for jumping, 360-degree area of sight. No, we are not going to look at all these things. Insect flight. Hey, what can antenna do for you? I don't know. Track and maneuver by smell alone. You can accurately identify common and known objects or substances. This is how you know your ants get the sugar and not the other crap, right? Chemical love. Chemical death.
Oh.
Actually, I want to read that one. I want to read chemical death.
Okay.
When an insect is killed or loses 80% of his main body SDC or MDC for the Rifts version, it releases strong chemical that reeks of death. This warns others of its kind that one of their members has just been violently slain, signaling danger, which either means they might stay away or they might come en masse.
They might swarm. Yeah.
And it's only 2 bio points.
So it's easy to get, and that's dangerous.
All right, and it's got other animal powers. Oh, look at those bugs. See, this one's even wearing a helmet. Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
With little holes for his eyes and antenna to come out.
Yep, that's bad. That's
all right.
Nice.
So the one I wanted to look at for this, and this is the last thing we're going to cover before we go into the rift stuff, is I wanted to cover the ant. Because I just figured, we all know what an ant looks like, right? So what is an ant? It's a little tiny thing. So it's size level 1, right? Except for when you make it. 14. So what does that mean? Well, can it be 14? No. And this is where I take, again, this is being very pedantic. I don't like this. It can be between 14 and 16, depending on which one of these you pick. You get a total of 150 bio-E points. If you remember, it's 5 bio-E points per each upgrade or downgrade, but 65 must be spent on growth steps. Why didn't you just say you are size level 14?
And you get 150 minus 65.
Yeah.
That's easy.
But, that again, a really petty thing. It's just, when I saw it, I was like, well, just give me what I have. Physical strength, +4 for workers and males, +6 for females. That's great. +2 physical prowess, +4 to physical endurance, but applicable only to duration, stamina, and saves versus poison. So not hit points. Mm-hmm. Physical beauty, -2. You're a bug. It should be -12. Speed, +6 to ground speed. Wow. And +10 to flying speed, which might not be that great because things that fly tend to go pretty fast, but that's a lot. Features, you can have any except for jumping and 2-leg biped. So those things that we were looking at before, You can have any of them as long as you can spend the points. You just can't have jumping or 2 biped legs, okay? Mouth powers, any at half the listed BioE cost. Why? Because ants do a lot with their mouths.
Sure.
Eye powers, any except ultraviolet. Antenna power, must select at least 2 from each category, but all are available. So you cannot have or unusable antenna. Flight powers, any except hyper. Chemical powers must select at least 2, probably chemical love and chemical death. Animal powers, any at half the cost. Are you kidding me? These are superpowers at this point. And
that doctor really broke the mold when he made these things.
Oh yeah, and well, there's a story behind it where it actually killed. I think there were 6,000 people living there, and only like 1,300 were alive after they finally defeated his bugs. Yeah. Or maybe that was the Rift side, not the. I forget anyway. But so, and this goes into the rest of the stuff that you'll get for playing TMNT. I'm not going to go into it. And then there's a risk. We're not going to look at this, but. So I'll let Heathen Dog just get an idea. Okay, so they're dumb. But look at that strength for rifts.
It's supernatural too, isn't it?
So
yeah, probably is.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at a different bug for rifts, and there's a reason for that. But you get an idea. So there you go. That is the after the bomb version of the. Remember, this is an overview, not a deep dive, and I struggle with these, as I was saying on the Friday stream. That I don't have good conversation with this because I'm on kind of a time crunch. But I hope that presented to you, dude. This book is amazing for being a 1992, I think it is book. This book is fantastic. Does it mean it's for every campaign? No, it's for a particular type of campaign out in space. And maybe you don't want to be out in space. That's fine. But if you do, and you want to have a great survival, and you want to have a how do I say this? An expanse style. I keep saying that, but it is. It really is kind of an expanse style game. Although Expanse is more civilized, you can't go wrong with Mutants in Orbit.
Yeah.
What we got for chat? Yeah.
We have a weird guy who gave $5. Thank you very much. Best elevator pitch for this book. It is Fallout, but set in the solar system.
Yes.
Have fun with super mutant bugs on Mars.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't, what?
I know I had to wait because I saw that last line.
Yeah. Thank you for not spoiling that. Oh, but no, you know what, weird guy? That's a good $5 right there because it is Fallout, but set in the solar. So that is a great way to look at that.
Yep.
Yes.
And next we have Max has less note cards than Biden and still can't keep them straight. And everyone after that was like, oh, burn. Oh,
I don't do politics in RPG Digest, so we're moving on.
And that is all for the direct things that need to be said. Everyone else was talking to each other.
Cool. All right. Well, hope you guys liked it. Let's I can't. Next one is oops, you got it. Go ahead. So the next one is going to be the Rift side of it. And yes, for the Rifts folks, you're gonna have to get some of your information from this video because I'm not gonna repeat a lot of it, and that's because I have. Can you see? There we go, a whole stack of note cards just for the Rift side and what the differences are and whatnot. But I hope you like this. I really do think this is an excellent book. It is one of my favorite books, not just because it's for After the Bomb, but it's really well done for the type of adventures that I like. And you might be like, hey, Max, I forgot to mention this. You didn't cover the 2 adventures that are in the book. You're right, and I'm not going to. There are 2 adventures in the book. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil the 2 adventures, but there are. It says an adventure and source book. Well, it's actually 2 adventures. So there you go. So I hope to see you in the next video.